Sinking Sand Part 6. Remy was blessed immediately after her marriage with the king, and she had 2 bouncing baby boys the following year. But during her pregnancy period, she was so sick and she spent most of the time in the hospital. The only people that kept checking on her at the hospital were her parents and Lara, her best friend. And when it was time to put to bed, everything was complicated and she had her babies through the cesarean section. When she came back home from the hospital with her babies, the king promised her that the naming ceremony party of the boys will be well organized. A year after, and they will use the opportunity to celebrate their first-year birthday in a grand style. And this will make Remy to have enough time to recover fast. Remy accepted this proposal and also invited her mother to stay for some weeks with her at the palace. One faithful morning, while Mrs. Martins was taking care of one of the twins, she asked Remy, "When is the king going to return the money? We borrowed him for the hospital bill." "Very soon, Mum. He is expecting some money, and as soon as he receives it, he promised to send Dad all the money that you paid for the hospital bill," she replied with smiles. "Hope he takes account of everything. All those days you spent while being pregnant as well." Mrs. Martins asked again. "You don't need to bother yourself, Mum. I'm sure he is even paying you back in multiple folds," Remy replied, and smiled back at her mum. After a few weeks, Mrs. Martins left the palace and went back to Lagos, and Remy was left alone taking care of her babies. After some months, one faithful evening, Remy went to meet the king in his room. "I need some money. I want to buy milk for your babies," she asked. "Sit down, my beautiful wife," the king asked, and Remy sat on a couch in front of the king. "Why not breastfeed these wonderful gifts of God? All my children are always being breastfed for a whole year without water and milk. See them all looking healthy," he said. "These are the first set of twins you ever have, and I have breastfed them for good 7 months without adding milk or water. I have tried. It's time for them to start taking milk," she replied. "Okay, you and buy them milk," then he replied. "That is why I'm here. That is what I'm requesting for. I need money to buy them milk," she responded. "See, Remy, or whatever your name is, the king speaks. I am a king. I make decision and people obey. I know your parents did not do a good work in training you well, but I will try to manage you. So, listen good. Breastfeed my babies till they are 1. Remy felt bad with his utterances, but she couldn't do anything. Then, when it was a month to the twins' 1-year birthday, she went back to him. "My king," she started, "you are not saying anything about the planned naming ceremony and our boy's birthday." "To Remy, I did not forget." The king replied, "But I only have a change of plan." He continued, "There is no point wasting money that we don't even have. I felt you might have forgotten, and I decided to come and remind you. These boys have lovely names already, so what is the point of doing a naming ceremony again? Then they can't even know they are doing birthday. They are too small to appreciate a birthday party. So we will wait till they are 5 years old," he said. "Why are you doing this to me?" Remy asked, "Why do you always promise without keeping it?" She asked again. You know I don't like it when people question my authority, the king replied annoyingly. What exactly have you brought into this marriage? He asked. All you know is spend and spend. The projects I hope your dad will help me with to develop my territory and upgrade my status. Till tomorrow, I've not seen one project from him. He kept promising, thinking I'm a fool. Wait. Remy cuts in. Are you doing all these because my dad is yet to give you a project? But you are also owing him, she said. You told him to pay all hospital bills, but you are yet to refund that, she said. The hospital bills he paid for his own daughter. The king asked if that is what he is waiting for, then he is going to wait till eternity. Remy was shocked with the king's response. So let me remind you to Remy the king, continue, you and your stingy parents are also owing me. Do you know how much I spent on that your stupid wedding? I spent every dime in my accounts. You should even be glad that you still have food to eat. That marriage was a contract, and if it won't be profitable, then I am not ready to continue wasting my money. This is business, he shouted back at her. 7 months later, Lara came to the palace to invite Remy to her wedding. They sat together in Remy's room, a picture of royalty, but appearances can be deceiving. I can't afford the asoebi fabric, Remy confessed, her voice barely a whisper. It's too expensive. Lara laughed. What do you mean? A whole queen can't afford it? Then, seeing the genuine sadness in Remy's eyes, she softened. Don't worry, I won't sell it to you. I'll give it to you. Just promise you'll be there, spraying money on me on the dance floor. Lara, Remy started, tears welling up. Things are not what they seem. Your uncle, the palace, this marriage, it's all a lie. She finally broke down, revealing the truth. Your uncle hasn't taken responsibility for anything since our wedding. I've already sold 2 of my cars just to get by. The money your parents lent him for the hospital, I paid it back myself so they wouldn't find out. He hasn't bought a single thing for the babies, no milk, no diapers, nothing. I've been paying for everything. Shocked, Lara asked Remy, this is hard to believe. Can I confront my uncle? Remy nodded. When Lara confronted the king, she was stunned. He repeated the same cold, dismissive things he had said to Remy. I told you she was already engaged back then, Lara argued. If you had no good plans for her, why did you marry her? The king scoffed. Go and ask her why she accepted it. I didn't force her. And you, Lara, you said the Martins were wealthy, but you never said they were stingy. Your friend Remy is a black marketer, useless investment. Lara was speechless. She returned to Remy, comforted her, gave her the wedding fabric, and even transferred money into her account before heading back to Lagos. Meanwhile, Remy's family problems were getting worse. Her mother's health declined, and debtors were constantly harassing them. Her father, Chief Martins, owed months of salaries, and his workers were resigning one by one. Eventually, Mrs. Martins became critically ill. In a desperate attempt to save her, Chief Martins sold off several assets, but it was too late. She passed away. The burial ceremony was incredibly extravagant. People wondered where Chief Martins found the money. The truth was, he was determined to maintain appearances, selling even more property and borrowing heavily. The day after the funeral, Remy sat down with her father. "Dad, I know you're trying to maintain a standard," she said gently. "But I, Dante, think spending so much while we re-drowning in debt was wise. A modest ceremony would have been fine." "No," he insisted firmly. "We must fake it until we make it. The standard must not fall." He then added, "And tell the king I'm not upset he couldn't attend. I appreciate the money he sent. Thank him for me." Remy forced a smile. "It's fine, Dad." She knew the truth. The money he was thanking the king for came from her, from the sale of another one of her cars. She had lied to protect her father's pride. 3 years passed. One day, the king announced his plan to take a 7th wife, a wealthy widow with several thriving businesses. Remy was furious. "I am a king," he roared when she confronted him. "No one tells me how many wives I can take. If you're unhappy, you can leave. But you promised I would be your last wife." She cried out, "Are kings not meant to keep their promises?" He smirked, "And I kept it. You have been the last wife for 5 years. Promise fulfilled. But did you keep yours?" Remy was confused. "What promise?" He looked at her coldly. "This new woman will help me clear the debts I incurred because of your marriage. So prepare yourself to welcome a younger wife." But the king didn't just stop at a 7th wife. What he did next would push Remy to her absolute limit. Follow for the next part to find out.